everyone. Welcome to Awakening with Amy Robeson. I'm so excited you are here. I have a very special treat for you today. We are in the middle of sharing all sorts of wonderful, magnificent magic in our free masterclass series called the Soul Evolution Masterclass series. If you haven't joined us, go check it out. Check your inbox or come and check out the replays while they're still available on YouTube, or we'll put our replay page in the show notes and show description as well. We've done some really amazing ancestors healings, soul lineage healings, money healings, all sorts of different things. So if you haven't checked it out, it's still available if you're listening to this while it's still in February of 2025. Might be available if you're listening to it later. We do this twice a year. But today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to showcase all the different magnificent ways some of our Sacred Awakening students have experienced the magic of the Akashic Records and how their life has changed while using the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is a field of infinite possibilities. Every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in this field of possibilities. It's also called the Book of Life. In this field of possibilities, it's like a Google database of your soul that holds everything about you, everything in existence, and everything that will exist as well. And what we can do is go in there and receive love and guidance and support in any and all areas of your life. And so if you're interested in seeing what the magic of the records can do for you, we have our open enrollment right now for Sacred Awakening at 50% off. So if you're interested in joining us, you can go to sacredawakening.org, sacredawakening.org, or you can click on the show notes, show description, and check out my website, theamyrobeson.com, click on Sacred Awakening. There's many ways to find it, but we have 50% off going on right now and tons of bonuses. I'd love to see you in the program. If you've been sitting and waiting on the sidelines, waiting to see when it's the right time, if your heart's telling you to jump in, jump in. But without further ado, let's see what the records can do for you and all of our wonderful students. So let's jump into this episode.
My name is Dawn Hamilton. I am an Akashic Record practitioner healer. So I've taken both the first and the second level of everything that Amy has to offer. And I can tell you right now, it's the best decision that I have ever made in my entire life.
My name is Elona, and I am actually a yoga teacher.
My name is Jason Coulter, and I am a retired backup dancer for the Backstreet Boys. And no, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, are you really?
No, I work in cell towers.
I'm Angel, an Akashic Record practitioner and healer. I also do crystal and chakra healing, light language healing, and like Jason, I also work with cards, but oracle cards. So I do Akashic oracle card readings.
I'm Derek, and I am an Akashic Records practitioner, and I create soul portraits. I also do crystalline energy healing, plus violet flame healing, and Metatron healing, and just anything that deals with coaching and helping support someone out of hard times.
It's been incredible, absolutely incredible. I've always been attracted to working with spiritual modalities. I was, for many, many years, I was always seeking outside of myself. And as soon as I was able to plug into the Akashic Records, that allowed me to be in the driver's seat, and it allowed me to start to understand and look at things myself without the outside influences, which was kind of scary at first because I had to learn how to rely on me, on myself. So there was a little bit of a growth period, and there's always a growth period with that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
always.
And but I get better every day with it. So it's fantastic, but it has changed my life so dramatically. I am not the same person I was when I started my journey with the Akashic Records.
I have been on the spiritual journey for about 10 years. When my son was getting ready to go to college, I started feeling that call of the spirit, right? That starts knocking on the doors of our hearts saying, hey, are you listening? Are you there? Are you ready? So I kind of got on that ready of self-discovery. And as I was on the journey, I studied different modalities, right? So of course I studied yoga and I became a yoga teacher. And now that I have a yoga studio, I do trainings. I do 200-hour basic yoga teacher trainings, as well as the advanced teacher trainings. But in the meantime, I was also studying karmic numerology, Vedic numerology, astrology, both Western astrology and Vedic astrology, tarology, among other things. And what I would like to say is different about Akashic Records modality is that it gives you a
This
direct
is really
experience.
my first course in realizing that I had any kind of abilities whatsoever, and it's coming slow. And I'm, as far as experience, probably the least experienced here, but
So you just took the course. You just took the last round, and we completed the course in January.
yes,
So you just completed it. So you're fresh off the boat.
fresh off the boat, yes. And I've been giving readings, and I've had some success. I actually had a success story last week.
It's astronomically different. And I'm gonna get emotional about it and just gonna say it. When I started with Sacred Awakening, it was a couple years ago now, I was just in a very low spot. I had just started a healing journey within emotional eating. And if you know anything about that, it's very self-destructive. Like, I took life out on me. And I didn't know anything about anything spiritually before Sacred Awakening. And it was just random. Like, I would hear Akashic Records, just the words being brought up here and there. And so when I was guided, I didn't understand guides or anything at this point either. But when I was guided to join Sacred Awakening, I just saw an ad pop up on Facebook and I joined a masterclass like this. And I don't know what it was, but there was just something like pulling at me, like, this is for you. This is a path for you. And so I joined, and within the first few classes, I had no idea what I signed up for ultimately.
Going into the records and through Sacred Awakening, I found that a part of me still loves art. And that part of me has shown up profoundly in how I move forward in life. And it's like every day I have to create. This has allowed me to be in touch with my creativity a lot more on a regular basis. And one of the things that I found is that no matter what the art modality or the outlet is, I find a way to express myself. And also the images that I receive from the records are pretty substantial in how I interpret the records.
It was pretty dramatic. It was very eye-opening to me. First thing I do want to point out, though, is I attended 100% of the classes online. So I didn't participate live. I did everything via the recordings. So
You watched all the replays.
yeah, I did all the replays. And I could feel I could feel the energy, which was really new for me, because at that time I I didn't really have a good identification system internally on what all that was. And little by little, I started to feel and know and understand, and became very familiar with which clairs of mine were stronger than the others, and kind of brought that all full circle for me, which was very, very empowering. I had conditioned myself to look outside of myself. So to really stand and look internally, it was very eye-opening for me.
So I like to use, I'm also an Akashic Records practitioner, which I had never envisioned myself to be, but this is not my, primary thing, right? So, but I'm using Akashic Records on a daily basis to tune in to myself and to find out how do I need to look at the day, and what do I need to pay attention? For example, I will wake up and I have a sadhana daily practice. I will do some physical activity and I will practice meditation. And then I will tune into my Akashic Records and I will ask a question such as, what do I need to pay attention to in order for my day to flow smoothly? And I will get an answer. Now, I want to tell you something about getting answers. The answers may not necessarily be right in your face. You have to do that, or you have to do this. The thing about Akashic Records or leading a spiritual life is the subtlety of the realm, which means that you may get a knowing, and that's pretty much the clair that I feel like I'm mostly developed in, right? You may see something, you may hear something, you may feel it in your body, like Dawn said. And for me, it's this clear cognizance, right? So I will just start writing things down, and the things that are coming down are very unexpected a lot of times, right? So just this subtle thing, like pay attention to what you hear today, for example, could be an advice for the day, or listen to what is your friend going to say. For example, just something really simple, but when I listen, I might hear an answer to a question that I asked before. So those are really important tools for me to tune in, like on a daily basis.
I think the reason why I'm probably here is I had a kind of a unique experience. I didn't know, how the Akashic records were going to work for me. I really, I'm really in the beginning of my journey. So, and I've, went headlong. You just look at all the modalities and you get curious and you start looking and you learn things. And I realized that through QHHT, which is quantum hypnotic, oh my gosh, quantum healing hypnotic therapy, that from a young age, I was actually able to contact with my guides until I turned 18, and I really didn't understand it even then. But I found out, and then all of a sudden, all these rushing memories come back, and I figured out how to connect and speak with my guides. And they showed me an interesting way to use the Akashic Records. They showed the Akashic Records, and then they showed me, from a third person view, using tarot. And so I've had some success with that. And, it's funny is that all the people that I've worked with are, close. I mean, they're acquaintances, but I don't know them that well. And I was able to really give them some good insight on their lives. And just last week, I got contacted from someone who I had done a reading for. And she told me that, and here's another thing that's probably a good lesson, and a lesson in trust, is when you're in the Akashic Records and you're giving a reading, say what you're hearing. Don't hold back. I knew the person partially just by work. And and being in the industry for 26 years, I changed the message, and but anyway, what it was is she was in between jobs and she was wondering what was going to happen, and basically what I got is, this is going to come out of nowhere. You are not going to see this coming. You're not going to have to do anything. You don't have to put out your resume. You don't have to talk to anyone. That this job is going to find you. And what the guides told me is big, loud letters, contractor. Well, in my line of work, a contractor is generally the guy that's out working, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't say contractor. I said, it's going to come from an unexpected source, like somewhere you wouldn't think it would come from. And she called me and told me, I got a job offer from Verizon. I had no idea. I found out people were talking and advising without talking to me, and it just came out of nowhere. And she goes, I am going to be a contractor.
We don't realize that imaginary friend is our higher self in contact with us in that moment. And a lot of times we think that, it's just, oh, I'm just playing. And other people see it and like, why are you talking to yourself? And why, and it's your higher self teaching you and showing you different things as you grow. Another part of that I found was pretty profound is when you have those deja vu moments, you're also in touch with your higher self. And I literally just had one the other day when I was doing some artwork, and I was like, man, I remember doing this, but how could I remember doing that when this wasn't even available to me way back when? And so it's just like you realize like how connected you are to source and to the records. Is really amazing.
The unconditional love that is there that you can just plug into, if you get nothing else, it's the unconditional love. You're not alone. It's there for you. And even if it's just like having a friend on speed dial, for lack of a better phrase. But being able to plug into that and learning how and when to plug into it as a tool to maneuver through your life is just exceptional. It's amazing.
I considered myself to be an intuitive. I have a very analytical mind. It's like I have to analyze everything, right? But when you get on the spiritual journey, you realize that there is an element of faith and you have to trust, right? And when you start trusting, right, you're opening yourselves to receiving. And when you open yourself to receiving, you get downloads. So this claircognizance was coming into me in very, very interesting stories about myself. And then when I started offering that, so Amy's next question is probably going to be about, it's like what happened during, right? And so this is what's my biggest takeaway. So during the course itself, when I had to do the readings, that was, part of the certification process, right? You need to do the readings, right? And this is something that is probably the biggest tool for you to experience, because without practice, right, it's all going to stay in your head. So if you want to apply it, right, if you want to experience it, you really need to practice it. So practice it on your friends. I was practicing it on my students, and when the stories that I was hearing were coming in and I was relaying them to the students, I had no idea about that, but my students were validating that. Yeah. It makes perfect sense, and they were like really bizarre stories, potentially they were from the previous life, sometimes, from the present lives, but they were validating them very much, saying that makes so much sense. So this pattern that I'm experiencing right now is because, something else happened, for example, in the present life, in the past life. So that was one of my biggest takeaways, to realize that I'm very much open to the claircognizance, to the knowing, and I'm able to tune into that and use that gift.
You want to talk about an up level. I found, the biggest takeaway is, with your class and everything, is that, can I give an example that's probably worked better for me? Like everybody hates Mondays, right? Like they wake up, they had the weekend, they might have been drinking or they might not have, but everybody just, Mondays. And, recently I've just been thankful for, actually having a job that I can go to every day that gives me a lot of freedom. And I just started being thankful for the little things in my life. And all of a sudden, Mondays I don't dread. Yesterday was a great day. I was high energy. I was happy. And usually it's Monday and I'm walking around, oh, it's a Monday and I hate it. I think my fiance is on the call and she can attest for that. But, and just that feeling of positivity and the feeling that, there is something else out there that has got your back 100% of the time, all the time. And just that feeling alone is so amazing. And Amy, you're a great teacher and a great human being. And I know I've told you this before. Thank you. And it's been such an honor to share the space in the class with you these last few months.
When we started working with the inner bodies is where I had my most memorable transformation. And we started working with the ego. I was in this space of, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not receiving anything. I was typing out this huge message to you, like, and then before I hit enter, something just like this wave washed over me. It was just like, breathe, pause. And I will never forget these words. But I heard, what if you're not making it up? And then it's like this wave just washed over me, another one. And then I saw my ego. And from then on, it's just progressed to such a huge degree to where, like, a couple of years ago, I would not be on. That's like, I would not be here. I would not have my camera on. I so disvalued myself. I didn't think I was worth anything. And now this is my work. And I know that I was guided to this path because not only does it encourage me to continue healing, but it is just, I get to be an example for those that are in alignment to receive my example. And it is just so empowering. And I have this new, well, not new, it was always there, but I have access to me now. Before all of this, I had no idea who I was. I did, like I said, I did not value myself at all. I'm surprised I was married with where I was, because looking back at who I was, I wasn't a person. I was a shell. And through my continuous practice in the Akash and just spiritual development as a whole, and, receiving the messages during my own readings, and then, giving readings you receive as well, everyone's a mirror. And it's just, everything has just opened up in a way that I never could have imagined possible. And so if you're here for a reason.
All right, my friends, what did you get out of this? What do you feel the records can do for you? Do you feel like they can change your life? I know for me, the records have completely transformed my life, from the way that I feel about myself, the relationship I have with myself, the relationship I have with creation, God, universe, and the relationship I have with other people. They have completely changed the landscape of my reality and the way that I view what is possible and what I can co-create with the universe. And so if you're interested in joining us, click the link in the show notes, click the link in the description, or you can go to sacredawakening.org. Sacred, SACRED, Awakening, AWAKENING.org. Or you can go to my website, theamyrobeson.com/sacred-awakening. I hope to see you in the program. Please like and share this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.